What's up, guys? My name is Tiana. If you are new here, please go ahead and subscribe. If you are already subscribed, welcome back. Today's video, we are talking about 7 things that I wish I knew before going to nursing school. This is our LPN edition because I was an LPN first. I am a registered nurse now, but the two experiences were different for me, so I will do my RN or like my BSN experience in a different video. So first, I went to LPN school through the Army. So my situation was a little bit different, I guess, than normal. But either way, it was still LPN school. But so for some of these things, they were a little bit different for me. So the first tip that I had, or that I wish that I knew before going to LPN school, was the school schedule. So the school schedule for us was from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Now, the thing is since I was in the Army, I was getting paid that whole time, so I didn't have to worry about like having a job or anything like that. But it was 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then on the syllabus, they had like, week by week what we were going to be doing, so we would know like week by week. And it was 52 weeks, so it was a whole year of LPN school of Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. The second thing that I wish that I knew was about time management and how much time you actually have to manage. Now, like I said, I did not have a job, but I know for those people that are going to like a civilian LPN school, you may have to work. And then you also have to like manage time for studying and then like your personal life. Contrary to popular belief, you do get to have a personal life, even though people will tell you that you don't. And so time management was really important when it came to studying, and then just like in general, because you're in class Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, and then you have to plan everything around those hours, because normally you can't miss class and things like that. You can't like leave early, come late. That usually doesn't really fly in a nursing program, because you have to have a certain amount of hours to graduate. And I think that is classroom hours is one, and then of course like clinical hours is another. And so like those all have to be at a certain amount of hours for you to graduate, so you have to make your life fit around that schedule, where it's almost like a Monday through Friday job schedule, but you don't get paid to go to nursing school, and so you may have to make more money, so you do have to find like flexible jobs. Like I said, like I didn't work when I was in LPN school, but I think that I've heard that people say they get flexible jobs like as a CNA, other things that are in healthcare that may have like an overnight or an evening shift available, or even like half of a shift. And then also like waitressing, I've heard that as well. So the next thing that I wish I knew was about learning styles. Okay, so the reason why it's important to really learn about like what your learning style is because that's going to help you understand how you're going to retain information when you study for these exams, because it is very important for you to study for these exams. I want to say that most of our grade was made up of like exams and then ATI assignments, because my program did use ATI. But yeah, so like a lot of our grade mostly was exams. So we were given a study guide per se, and it was a really long study guide, because if I remember correctly, in LPN school we had like 100-question tests. That's how long our tests were, and I want to say we did something like 14 or 15 tests or something like that. And so it was a lot of information to retain, and so knowing your learning style is going to be very important. It's also going to be very important when it comes to how your program is taught. So in my program, there was a lot of teaching like with the PowerPoint and things like that. And to be totally honest, because somebody was like a lot of the time reading things off of a PowerPoint to me, I would maybe just be kind of like skimming in my book, or like writing some notes down, or just kind of like drawing like little pictures in my notebook that would help me study for later on. But I was utilizing that time that we were in the class as I was listening, but also like going ahead and making my notes so that I was not wasting any time that I had. I have a mixture of learning styles, and so what helps me is kind of looking at diagrams. So for example, if you're in like the cardiac section, a good picture for me was to look at the heart. I can't draw very well. I can draw stick figures, but I don't draw very well in general. And so for me, I would print those things off. I know some people in class were very good at drawing, so they would draw it, they would label it, and they would do things kind of like, you know, like the flow of blood, things of this nature. And so I would print out pictures and maybe like color code them the way that I want it, and then label them the way that I wanted to do that, because visual helped me, but also auditory. So I wouldn't maybe necessarily have to look up at the board in PowerPoint because I was listening. And so I was pretty much like a visual and like an auditory learner at the same time going on there. Okay, so the next thing is study groups. Okay, so this came in handy for me. Study groups are really, really important for me. I will say that it was for me. It really helps. So I am pretty much like a loner studying type of person. However, the day of the exam, me and some classmates would get together and it would be like four. And the way that I did it was myself, and it was usually like four guys or something like that, and I would basically go over like the points on our study guide and basically teach back the information, because if you can teach someone the information, that probably means that you understand it, or if you can answer questions about information, it's because you understand it, and things like that. And so that's what I would do the day of the exam. In the morning before the exam, we would like be in a conference room and we would do our study groups. But other than that, I studied alone, just because I kind of like quiet when I study. Sometimes I'll have Beats headphones on and listen to like the lo-fi or whatever it's called, and I would study that way. But study groups came in handy for exams, because there were many times before an exam that I was studying with people and found out information that I hadn't even gone over at all whatsoever. And some people are better at explaining things than others are too, so that really helped. And I really feel like, you know, on some of those tests I might have got like the points that had me passing by doing that study group in the morning. So the next thing is going to be a planner. So I am a pretty organized person. I do use planners. If you've seen my other videos, you'll see like my planning and things like that. So a planner is really important. Now, what I like to do with my planner is I like to go, because I count down days, weeks, months until like the school is over with. And so I would go and then have like the calendar part of the planner where I would write week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And in the part of the planner where it's like a daily, where you're writing down what you're doing, I would put down, you know, like everything that I needed to do. Okay, so we have an exam on this day, and so I'm going to study a little bit here and a little bit there. If it was like, because in nursing school, as you probably know if you're watching this, sometimes those tests are over 10 chapters. Especially the first one, like the foundations, like it's over like 20 chapters. It's ridiculous. And so what I would do is, because I do read the books, you know, I know people are kind of like on the fence about like whether to buy books or not buy books, but I did use the books to read. It helped me. And I would just go ahead and like in my planner, I would list out what chapters exactly that I was going to study, because that helped me. It gave me like a visual of like, okay, my week is going to look like this. I'm going to do 5 chapters this day, 5 chapters that day. And then I would cross those things out. And then as the weeks passed in nursing school, I would cross the whole week. I would like X out like every day that passed by. And I'm like, okay, 1 week down, 51 to go, you know, 20 weeks down, 32 to go, something like that. Like that's how I kind of like got through it, and like with time. And I'm like, okay, you know, we did this many weeks, I just have to do this many more times, and then we'll be at graduation. So planning is really good. And also like planning your outside life around school and stuff like that too, because like for example, I know I have to go get like my car registered this month, so I would do things like that too, like just things you need to mail something, put that in there. Just like plan out your whole life, because when your brain is fried, you will tend to forget things, but if you put them in your planner, then you can just open that up and just read it. So that would be that's a very good thing to know before you're going to nursing school. And then the next thing is about money. Okay, so I say this because I have a lot of people come and ask me, like, you know, well, what did you do during nursing school or whatever? And like I said in the beginning of the video, I was in the army, and so I did not have to have an outside job. So that I was lucky. Like, I didn't have to have an outside job, and I did not have to work. And then so like really what I would suggest and what I suggested to the last person that asked me that question is if you could find a remote job. I would not, you know, want to go work outside the home. You know, you're at school all day or whatever, then you go work outside, unless it's just what floats your boat and you want some human interaction after that. But I would find a remote job. And that's just what I would do, or just like something on the weekends, because I will say, going back to that time management thing, that nursing school is very, very time consuming, and you have to study. You have to study a lot, because the questions that you're going to be asked are not even like more so like, oh, you memorizing information and stuff like that. You have to know a lot of concepts. You really have to know your anatomy and physiology, or some of that stuff you're not going to make it through. Those things are very important. And speaking of like what you need to study, the other thing that goes along with that is the grading scale. Understand your grading scale. When you look at a syllabus, 9 times out of 10 it's going to have on there like how many points you need to pass, and then how many points your assignments weigh, like what each exam weighs, what each assignment weighs, and things like that. And it is very important because nursing school, neither of the nursing schools that I went to used like a 10-point grading scale, meaning that it was not 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C. And the last one that I went to, I want to say it was like a 93 to 100 was an A. So then I think it was an 84 to a 92 was a B. And then, you know, so on and so forth. And so it's really important, if you're worried about GPA and trying to get into another program later on, that you are paying attention to that grading scale, as well as the fact that normally, I don't know any nursing school where you can have a 70 and pass. I think that for LPN school, for us, it was like a 75 to pass. That was as low as you can get. And I want to say for my BSN program, that was a 77, but I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, like a C is pushing it, because you don't want to, you know, be getting these really low scores and things like that. And then for your finals and exams and things like that, you're having to score really, really high. And then, you know, sometimes you have a bad day and things of that nature, but you should just try to study your best. Make sure that you know the grading scale. Make sure you know the policies about late work and things like that. You get sleepy people, you know, we've had like papers that are due and things of this nature, and it's all on a time limit. So make sure that you pay attention to those things, which is why you need a planner, so that you can go ahead and plan out all your assignments and tests and you don't miss anything. And so this brings me to the last point of what I wish I knew before nursing school, is how important self-care in your personal life is. I cannot tell you how many people tell me, or that where I read like on different groups and like forums and on social media, where people are like, oh, you know, let your friends and family know that you will not have a personal life in nursing school. By all means, everybody's personal life is very different and things like that, but I would say that at some point, like at least once a week, you do need to put the book down, maybe like just get some like mental freshness and things like that, clear the air for yourself, even if it's just for you to go on a walk or have like a bubble bath or anything like that, that's just like calming, because nursing school is very stressful and you just need something to, you know, like take your mind off of all the stress, because you don't want to get burnt out like while you're doing clinicals and all these other things, and you're barely in school and you haven't even started your first job. And so, you know, take that time to do your self-care. If self-care involves you getting your nails done or your hair done, lashes, or if it's just that you're reading a good book but you're by yourself, by all means. As well as a personal life, I personally had a very active personal life when I was in nursing school, my friends and I that were in nursing school with me, we went out a lot, and we partied a lot and things of that nature. So I know that's probably a bit of a different story than what you'll hear from most nurses, but I passed through just fine. I passed the first time, so that's my personal prerogative or whatever. Like, I wanted to go out and party and stuff like that, and so that's what I did. But I just made sure that I had fun. I made sure that I was traveling. I made sure that I took some time for myself, and I feel like everybody should make sure, however it is that you have fun, or that like wind down, or that you de-stress, you do that for yourself, and you remember that, like, your self-care comes first, because if you're too burnt out, if you're too tired, you're not going to do well anyway. So those are 7 things that I think I wish I knew before nursing school, and 7 things that I hope will be helpful to you if you are in nursing school or you're thinking about becoming a nurse. So that is it. That is the video. If you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Give me some thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.